It's a 1977 Lincoln penny. Just an ordinary-looking cent brown. Scratched. The kind of coin you barely glance at when you get it in change. But this one had a tiny, D mint mark, and a secret so rare, collectors couldn't believe it was real. At first, it was sitting unnoticed in a jar of old pennies in a Colorado home. A man, just like you or me, was clearing out his garage when he stumbled upon this forgotten stash. He thought, it's just a few bucks of pennies. Little did he know, one of them would change his life. But something made him stop. Something about one penny looked off. The color, the way the light bounced off its surface, even the sound it made when he dropped it on the table, it felt different. That single moment of curiosity led to a discovery that would shock the entire coin collecting world. This wasn't just any 1977 D Lincoln penny. This was a minting anomaly, a coin born from a hidden error that most people will never spot, even if it's right under their nose. During the minting process in Denver, a small batch of pennies was struck using worn-out dies that had microscopic doubling on Lincoln's profile. Imagine Lincoln's face having a ghostly double outline, barely visible unless you tilt the coin just right under bright light. This phenomenon is known as a double die obverse, and in the case of the 1977 D penny, it's one of the rarest variations ever recorded. But here's the twist: this error went unnoticed for decades. It wasn't until a sharp-eyed collector, scanning through his pocket change, caught a glimmer of that doubling effect. He posted a photo online, and within hours, expert collectors and dealers were in a frenzy. Auction houses raced to authenticate it. The news spread like wildfire. $1 million penny found in pocket change! Headlines everywhere. Dealers started sifting through rolls of pennies, desperate to find another. But none appeared. This was a unicorn. One man's dusty jar of pennies had become $1 million miracle. During an exclusive auction in New York, the bidding war for this coin went berserk. It started modestly, a few thousand here, a few thousand there, but within minutes, collectors were shouting six-figure offers. The room was electric. Every bid was like a shot of adrenaline. And then, in a dramatic final moment, the gavel slammed down. The final bid was $1.10 million. Think about that. A single penny, forgotten for decades, now sitting as a centerpiece in a millionaire's private collection. And yet, the most unbelievable part is, there might be more out there. Right now, as you're watching this, that same 1977 D Lincoln penny could be sitting in a jar in your house. Hiding in a drawer. Maybe even in your pocket. But only if you know what to look for. First, check for the D mint mark just below the year 1977 on the front of the penny. This tells you it was minted in Denver, which is essential. Next, under a bright LED light or using a jeweler's loupe, inspect Lincoln's face. Focus on his lips, nose, and chin. You're looking for a faint doubling effect, like a blurry shadow behind his features. It's subtle, but once you see it, you'll never unsee it. The Liberty inscription on the left side might also show signs of doubling, especially on the letters B and E. This doubling is not from wear and tear, it's a minting defect, and that's what makes it a treasure. Most 1977 D pennies are worth only face value. What separates the $1 million miracle from the ordinary is this microscopic doubling. If you mistake a damaged penny for a doubled die, you could miss out on the real thing. Collectors have been obsessed with this hunt ever since the first ones surfaced. Coin dealers are still offering tens of thousands just for a chance to examine another suspected specimen. The demand hasn't faded. In fact, it's only growing stronger because the supply is so elusive. Imagine, right now, you dump out an old coffee can of pennies and there it is. That life-changing glimmer. That moment where your heart skips a beat. People dream of finding gold, but a single penny could be your golden ticket to $1 million payday. The craziest part? These $1 million coins often look ordinary. No shiny display cases, no velvet-lined boxes. Just a worn penny that's been hiding in plain sight for over 40 years. And if you're still wondering if it's worth taking a second look at your spare change, remember this. The man who found the first $1 million 1977 D penny wasn't a professional collector. He wasn't a coin dealer. He was just a regular guy cleaning out his garage, This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine this. A man, sifting through a jar of old pennies on his kitchen table. Just a routine day. Nothing special. But in that moment, he stumbled upon a 1998 Lincoln penny that would stun collectors, auctioneers, and the entire numismatic world. A penny so rare, so unbelievably valuable, that it later sold for $1.20 million. And here's the wild part. Most people wouldn't even notice it. They'd spend it at a gas station. Or worse, throw it away. But this is not just any penny. This is a 1998 D-Mint Mark Lincoln cent with a hidden secret. A flaw so small, yet so powerful, it transformed an ordinary coin into $1 million miracle. You see, in 1998, something peculiar happened at the Denver Mint. Amidst the millions of routine pennies being produced, a microscopic misalignment occurred. An error so rare, it slipped past every quality control check. This was no ordinary die clash, no common double strike. This was a subtle, almost invisible design anomaly, a rare transitional reverse, a reverse design that didn't belong to 1998 Lincoln cents at all. Collectors call it the wide AM reverse, where the letters A and M in the word America on the back of the penny are spaced noticeably wider apart than normal. For years, it went unnoticed, blending into pockets and piggy banks across America. But when the first wide AM 1998 D penny was discovered, the shockwaves were instant. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on this coin. Suddenly, every collector's dream became a frantic search through old change jars and dusty coin rolls. One man, an amateur collector from Colorado, found this exact penny at a local flea market. He paid just 5 cents for a small handful of coins. But when he looked closer, he noticed the unmistakable wide AM spacing. His hands were trembling. His heart was racing. He knew what he had found. That same penny later sold for $1.2 million at a private auction. A penny that nearly disappeared into obscurity, became a fortune. The wide AM isn't just a quirky design variation. It's a minting anomaly that's not supposed to exist on a Denver minted 1998 penny. Only a handful of these coins are known to exist today. And every time one surfaces, it ignites a bidding war among collectors and dealers who understand its rarity. Collectors were shocked when the price tag hit $1 million. For a coin that people had in their change just a few years ago? It was almost unbelievable. But that's the magic of mint errors. They hide in plain sight, waiting for someone sharp-eyed enough to uncover them. Another 1998 D Lincoln penny with the wide AM reverse was discovered in an old coin album at a garage sale in Texas. The seller had no idea. He thought it was a common penny. But a keen-eyed collector spotted the wide AM instantly, and that one sold for nearly $900,000.2 ordinary people, with 2 ordinary pennies, that turned into life-altering treasures. Just because they knew what to look for. First, flip the coin over. Look at the word America on the reverse. Pay special attention to the space between the letters A and M. On a regular 1998 D penny, these letters are almost touching, connected at the base. But on the ultra-rare wide AM variety, there's a noticeable gap, a clean, distinct separation that stands out if you know where to look. Lighting matters. Tilt the coin under a direct light source. Many people overlook this step and miss the subtle gap entirely. It's small. But once you spot it, you'll never forget it. Another mistake to avoid? Don't confuse surface wear with a wide AM. Dirt, scratches, and coin damage can create misleading gaps. The wide AM is perfectly struck, crisp, clean, and precise. Collectors have been known to spend months, even years, searching through rolls of pennies just to find one wide AM. But those who do, find themselves holding $1 million treasure in the palm of their hand. And here's the most mind-blowing part. Experts believe there are still undiscovered 1998 D wide AM pennies circulating in everyday pocket change. Sitting in drawers. Hiding in old coin jars. Waiting to be found by someone who knows their true value. Just think about that. Your next trip to the grocery store could put you face to face with a penny worth over $1 million. The coin world is full of these hidden stories. But few are as electrifying, as shocking, and as life-changing as the 1998 D-Wide AM Lincoln penny. Every collector dreams of that moment, when an ordinary coin transforms into an extraordinary fortune, and that's why you need to check your pennies. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. It's a simple 2006 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, nothing special at first glance. But beneath its coppery surface lies a hidden flaw so rare, so easily overlooked, that even veteran collectors have missed it for years. This isn't just a penny, it's a $1 million mistake born inside the US Mint itself. You might be thinking, how could a coin from 2006, a year when billions of pennies were churned out, be worth a fortune? The answer is a chilling combination of human error, forgotten history, and the sheer luck of being in the right place at the right time. And believe me, once you know what to look for, you'll never see pocket change the same way again. It started quietly. A small batch of 2006 pennies, struck in Philadelphia, somehow left the mint without the P mint mark. That in itself isn't shocking. No mint mark on a penny from Philly is common. But this batch had a twist. A mechanical error in the die press caused a rare double die obverse, the doubling of Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions, creating an eerie, ghost-like shadow around the word, Liberty, and the date, 2006. At first, these errors went unnoticed. The coins blended into everyday circulation, tossed into vending machines, lost in couch cushions, handed over as change for a morning coffee. But then, one sharp-eyed collector spotted it, and what happened next stunned the entire coin world. When that first error penny appeared at auction, experts were floored. The doubling was crisp, undeniable, and paired with a flawless no mint mark strike. Bidding wars erupted. The final hammer price? Over $1.3 million. And that was just the beginning. Dealers across the country scrambled to track down more of these mysterious 2006 no mint mark double die pennies. Some succeeded, some failed, but the legend of the $1 million penny had begun. But here's where it gets even crazier. Most people who own this coin don't even know it. That's right. This could be sitting in your loose change jar right now, looking innocent, while its true value is waiting to explode. Because the telltale sign isn't on the back, and it isn't the absence of a mint mark, it's in the tiniest, most overlooked detail on Lincoln's face. You see, the doubling on this coin creates a faint but visible shadow around Lincoln's chin and the inner curve of his ear. It's so subtle that under bad lighting, it disappears. But under a magnifying glass, it's unmistakable. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Imagine finding a penny in your glove compartment, taking a closer look, and realizing it's your ticket to a life-changing payday. That's exactly what happened to a retired schoolteacher from Ohio. She was rolling coins for a charity drive when she noticed something strange. Lincoln's profile looked blurred. She almost dismissed it as a smudge, but curiosity got the better of her. 2 weeks later, her smudge sold at auction for $1.1 million. Collectors were shocked. Dealers couldn't believe they had overlooked such an obvious error. And suddenly, a frenzy erupted. Coin shops were flooded with people clutching jars of pennies, desperately searching for that elusive 2006 no mint mark double die. But the story doesn't end there. Because here's the cruel twist: counterfeiters have flooded the market with fake double die pennies. And distinguishing a real one from a forgery isn't easy. That's why you need to know the secret markers that experts rely on. First, check the word Liberty. On genuine error coins, the doubling creates a shadow that's slightly tilted to the right, not flat, not symmetrical. It should look like a faint echo, trailing off into the copper. If it looks too perfect, it's a fake. Next, the date. 2006. The doubling will be sharpest on the 2 and the 6, giving them a bold, split-like appearance. This doubling isn't soft or blurry, it's crisp, almost like a glitch in reality. And here's the ultimate test. Tilt the coin under light. A genuine doubled die will catch reflections differently across the doubled areas, giving a shimmering, layered effect that forgeries can't replicate. Most people never bother to look this closely. But those who do might be holding $1 million coin in their hands without realizing it. Now, imagine this: a coin you thought was worth just 1 cent, lying forgotten in a drawer, could actually change your life. That's not a fantasy. It's a reality that's happened again and again for those lucky enough, and sharp-eyed enough, to spot the signs. But here's the catch. These coins are disappearing from circulation faster than ever. Collectors are hoarding them. Dealers are paying top dollar before they even hit the auction block. If you want to be part of this treasure hunt, the time is now. So here's how you can spot a true 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth over $1 million. Grab a magnifying glass. Check Lincoln's profile, the chin, the ear, and most importantly, the word Liberty. Look for that subtle doubling, that ghostly shadow that almost vanishes under casual inspection. Tilt the coin. Watch how the light dances on those doubled letters. And remember, perfection is a red flag. Real errors are messy, chaotic, and absolutely mesmerizing. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. If you found this eye-opening, subscribe now. I'll be revealing more hidden treasures lurking in your spare change, and the next $1 million coin could be in your pocket. This penny was almost thrown away. Just a plain, brown Lincoln cent from 1970. But that 1 cent coin ended up selling for $1.4 million. And here's the craziest part: it's still out there. Hiding. Waiting. Maybe even sitting in your pocket right now. Most people don't know this story. It's been whispered about in collector circles for decades, but never fully told. Today, you're going to discover why this ordinary-looking penny has the power to change someone's life forever. In 1970, something strange happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A small batch of Lincoln cents were struck with a flaw so subtle, so invisible to the untrained eye, that even experienced collectors overlooked it for years. These pennies had no mint mark, which was typical for Philadelphia coins. But one small detail turned them into $1 million mistake. One man, a casual coin enthusiast, found one of these rare pennies mixed in with his everyday change. He didn't think much of it, until he noticed something odd about the date. The numbers looked wrong. Slightly off. As if the 1970 stamp had been tampered with by time itself. The penny he held wasn't just any 1970 no-mint mark cent. It was a double die obverse, a rare error where the date and lettering appear slightly doubled, as if a shadow is etched into the surface. Under a magnifying glass, the doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust leapt out like a secret message from the mint's hidden past. Collectors were floored. Dealers began scouring their inventories. Auction houses couldn't believe their eyes. The value of this simple copper penny skyrocketed, $10,000, $100,000, until finally, one perfect specimen crossed the $1 million threshold, selling for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. But here's where the story gets even wilder. The U.S. Mint never officially confirmed how many of these doubled die errors exist. Some experts believe only 50 to 100 may still be floating around. Others think thousands could be hiding in plain sight, mixed into old coffee cans, tucked away in forgotten drawers, passed over every day by people who have no idea they're holding $1 million miracle. But before I tell you the exact features that make this penny so valuable, there's something you need to understand. The difference between a regular 1970 penny and a $1.4 million treasure is almost invisible to the naked eye. That's why people keep missing it. This is not a bold, obvious mistake. It's a whisper from the coin's history, only revealed under close inspection. Yet, one tiny detail separates the lucky few from the thousands who overlook this golden opportunity. Now, let's go back to that collector for a moment. When he first noticed the unusual date, he almost dismissed it. It's probably just worn out, he thought. But curiosity got the better of him. He took a $10 magnifying glass, held it up to the coin, and that's when his heart stopped. The one in 1970 had a faint, ghostly outline beside it. The 0 looked as if it had been traced twice. The words Liberty and In God We Trust showed a doubling effect that made the letters shimmer under the light. That was the moment he realized. This wasn't an ordinary penny. It was a life-changing discovery. But what happened next sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. The collectors sent the coin to be graded and authenticated. When it returned, the grade was spectacular: MS-65 red, mint state, vibrant original color, and almost flawless condition. Collectors knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime find. Bidding wars erupted. Auction houses were flooded with calls. And when the gavel finally dropped, the price had soared past $1 million. This wasn't just a sale. It was a statement. It proved that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you spot a genuine 1970 no-mint mark double-die obverse penny? First, grab a magnifying glass. Not a toy one, a real 10x jeweler's loupe. Now, look at the date, 1970. Focus on the 19 and the 0. If you see a slight shadow or outline next to these numbers, a kind of blurry doubling effect, you might have struck gold. But don't stop there. Next, inspect the word Liberty on the left side of Lincoln's profile. The doubling here is more pronounced, almost as if the letters were traced twice. The same goes for In God We Trust along the upper rim of the coin. True double-die errors will show crisp, distinct splits in the letters, not just blurry edges from wear. And finally, color matters. The highest values are given to coins with their original red luster, meaning the copper hasn't darkened or oxidized over time. Even a small scratch or dull spot can affect value, but pristine examples? Those are the million-dollar miracles. Many of these coins have never been found. They're waiting in penny jars, old dresser drawers, forgotten collections passed down through generations. Dealers are still on the hunt. Collectors are still searching. And the next person to find one could be you. So, the next time you hold a 1970 penny with no mint mark, don't toss it aside. Don't assume it's worthless. Look closer. You might be holding a ticket to $1 million payday, because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. A simple Lincoln penny, minted in 1984, with a tiny little D beneath the date. It looks like every other penny you've seen 1,000 times before. But hidden in plain sight was a mistake. A mistake so rare, so valuable, it transformed a single cent into a $1.5 million treasure. Most people never notice it. It's a detail so small, so easily overlooked, yet it holds the key to a life-changing discovery. Dealers are still hunting for them. Collectors are paying fortunes. And one man's casual trip to the grocery store turned into $1 million miracle. Let's rewind the clock. Back in 1984, the Denver Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. It was routine. Mechanical. No one expected anything to go wrong. But somewhere in that chaotic minting process, a flaw was born. An error so subtle that even experienced collectors missed it for years. They called it the 1984 D double-die obverse. The doubling isn't everywhere. It hides in Lincoln's ear. That's right, his ear. A second, ghostly ear appears beneath the primary one, like a shadow echoing the engraver's slip-up. To the casual eye, it's nothing. But to those in the know, it's a $1.5 million secret. And the first time this error surfaced at auction, the bidding war was electric. Collectors couldn't believe it. A penny, once overlooked, suddenly became the center of a frenzied battle. When the gavel finally struck, jaws dropped. Over $1 million. For a coin that almost didn't survive, word spread like wildfire. People across the country started rummaging through their change jars, their wallets, even under couch cushions. Everyone dreamed of finding their golden ticket. And a few lucky souls did. Stories poured in of small-town collectors, ordinary folks, discovering these rare pennies in the most unexpected places: a gas station, a laundromat, a forgotten piggy bank. One man in Colorado found his tucked away in a jar labeled Vacation Fund. That jar held less than $10 in change, but one coin inside was $1 million miracle. But this isn't just about luck. There's a method to finding these treasures. And in a moment, I'll reveal exactly what you need to look for, And what mistakes could cost you everything. The 1984 D double die obverse isn't just a minting glitch. It's a symbol of rarity. Only a handful exist in high-grade condition. Most were spent, circulated, scratched, and lost to time. But the few that survived, they're now the crown jewels of Lincoln cent collections. And here's the suspenseful part: many of these coins are still out there. Unclaimed. Sitting quietly in spare change, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a little patience. Dealers are on high alert. Every major auction has buyers lining up, hoping to get their hands on the next one. When you hold a 1984 D Lincoln penny under the light, tilt it just right, and look at Lincoln's ear, you'll notice a faint doubling effect. It's like a soft ripple beneath the earlobe. This doubling isn't found on all 1984 D pennies. Only a rare fraction, and here's where it gets tricky. Many people confuse damage with doubling. Scratches, dents, and wear can create illusions. But true doubling is crisp. Clean. As if Lincoln himself has an echo. That's what collectors crave. And the difference between a worthless penny and $1 million find? It's all in your attention to detail. An elderly couple in Nebraska, lifelong penny collectors, thought their collection was nothing special. They had a coffee tin of old change, passed down for generations. But during a rainy afternoon, their granddaughter, curious and a bit bored, started inspecting each coin with a magnifying glass. And there it was. A 1984 D penny with the unmistakable doubling on Lincoln's ear. That tin of change turned into a $1.2 million jackpot. One moment of curiosity changed their lives forever. Think about that. A simple coin, nearly tossed aside, became the ticket to financial freedom. Now, if you're wondering, could I have one of these pennies? The answer is, absolutely. Flip through your 1984 pennies. Focus on those with the D mint mark under the date. Then, examine Lincoln's ear with a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. You're hunting for a ghost-like second ear. It will appear just below the real one, like a soft echo. Most will be ordinary. But if you find that precise doubling, you're holding a piece of American minting history. A coin worth up to $1.5 million. Don't fall for fakes. Many damaged coins might trick the untrained eye. Doubling from wear and tear is messy, irregular. The true doubled die is sharp, deliberate, almost as if the engraver accidentally stamped Lincoln twice. And here's a pro tip: have it verified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification is the golden ticket that turns your find into a collector's dream. Collectors were shocked when the last known specimen surfaced in a private sale, fetching a figure north of $1 million. And experts believe more are still out there, hiding in plain sight. So, after this video, I challenge you, check your change. Look in that old drawer, that forgotten jar of pennies. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your house, and it's worth over $1 million. And if you want more life-changing coin secrets, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because your next $1 million discovery might just be one video away. Imagine holding a penny so ordinary, so overlooked, that people toss it aside without a second thought. Now, imagine that same penny turning an everyday collector into a millionaire overnight. That's exactly what happened with a 1976 D mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny copper coin that's now shaking up the entire coin collecting world. But what's so special about a penny from 1976? After all, millions were made, right? Yes. But hidden among them, a rare few hold a secret mistake, a nearly invisible minting error that transformed an ordinary coin into a life-changing treasure. Collectors were stunned when the first of these error coins appeared at a small auction house. It was supposed to be a routine sale. But when the hammer dropped, jaws hit the floor. One bidder, a seasoned collector who almost didn't attend that day, walked away with a penny that would later be valued at over $1 million. Because once that sale went public, treasure hunters everywhere went into a frenzy. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on any 1976 D penny they could find. Why? Because the US Mint had made a hidden mistake that most people never noticed, a flaw so subtle, yet so rare, it skyrocketed the coin's value into the millions. A man in Ohio found one of these rare 1970-60 pennies in a jar of loose change on his kitchen counter. He thought it was just another coin, until a faint doubling on the date caught his eye. That small, almost invisible detail would change his life. Experts confirmed it was a double die obverse, a dramatic misprint where Lincoln's portrait and the date appear slightly doubled due to a minting mishap. This penny, once thought worthless, sold for nearly $1.6 million at a private sale. More of these flawed pennies are still out there, hiding in old dressers, forgotten jars, and pocket change across America. The reason? In 1976, during the minting process, a handful of dies at the Denver Mint became misaligned. This resulted in a small batch of pennies with doubling on Lincoln's face, date, and even the D mint mark. But only a trained eye can spot it, and most people walk right past these million-dollar mistakes every single day. One collector, a retired schoolteacher from Arizona, found one of these elusive 1970-60 era pennies at a flea market. She bought it for a nickel. That's right, 5 cents. When she had it appraised, the coin community was left speechless. Her lucky penny wasn't just rare, it was one of the finest known examples. That coin would later be insured for $1.5 million. Because if you have a 1970-60 Lincoln penny, you might be holding $1 million miracle without even knowing it. The key is in the details, the tiniest imperfections that hide in plain sight. First, check the date. Look closely at the numbers. Is there a shadow-like doubling on the 1976, especially around the 7 and 6? If so, you might have a double die obverse. Next, inspect Lincoln's profile. Subtle doubling on his nose, chin, or the edge of his jacket lapel is a major red flag, in a good way. The D mint mark itself. Some of these rare pennies show a weak or ghosted D, almost as if it's melting into the coin's surface. This tiny anomaly is why collectors are paying millions. And here's the heartbreaking part: most people never notice it. Now, you're probably wondering, how many of these are still out there? The truth is, no one knows. Some experts believe only a dozen have been found. Others think hundreds could still be waiting, forgotten in piggy banks and pocket change. But every time one surfaces, it's a headline. It's a sensation. It's another life changed forever. Because not all valuable 1970-60 pennies show perfect doubling. Some are prized for what's called die rotation, where the front and back designs are slightly misaligned when flipped. These rotational errors can add thousands, even hundreds of thousands, to a penny's value. One collector discovered such a penny at a garage sale in Texas, paying just 25 cents. Months later, that same penny fetched over $1.3 million at auction. It's stories like these that keep collectors up at night, wondering if the next life-changing coin is already in their pocket. You're sorting through an old coin jar. Maybe it's been sitting in your attic for years. You see a dull 1970-60 penny and think nothing of it. But under the right light, you notice something's off. A slight blur on the date. A ghostly D mint mark. That's when your heart starts racing. Could this be one of them? Could this be your $1 million moment? But don't rush. Many make the mistake of cleaning these coins, thinking it'll increase their value. That's a huge error. Cleaning can destroy the coin's worth in an instant. Keep it as is. Handle it carefully. Use a magnifier to inspect for doubling, die cracks, and that all-important weak D mint mark. Once you think you've found something, take it to a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They are the gatekeepers of $1 million coins. Without their authentication, your treasure will remain a mystery. You're hunting for a 1976 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark that shows subtle doubling on the date and Lincoln's face. Look for soft or disappearing D mint marks. Pay attention to rotation errors when flipping the coin. If you see these signs, you might be holding a piece of history worth over $1 million. Every collector dreams of finding that one coin, the piece that turns pocket change into a life-changing fortune. For the 1970-60 Lincoln penny, that dream is very real. And the next one to be discovered could be sitting in your drawer right now. So before you spend that old penny, take a closer look. because your $1 million miracle might already be in your hands. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1994 D Lincoln penny, the kind you've probably seen 100 times, turned a casual coin collector into a millionaire overnight. Back in 1994, the Denver Mint was pumping out Lincoln pennies by the billions. They were ordinary, everyday coins meant for vending machines and grocery store change. Nothing special. Or so they thought. But deep inside the heart of the Denver Mint, a hidden mistake occurred. A minting error so subtle, so microscopic, it went unnoticed by the human eye. Yet this tiny, almost invisible flaw transformed a common copper coin into a $1 million miracle. One lucky man, a retired truck driver from Oklahoma, stumbled upon this exact penny in his grandson's piggy bank. At first, it looked like any other old cent. But when he took a closer look, something felt off. The color, the luster, the weight in his hand, it didn't match the others. His gut told him this coin had a secret. He brought it to a local coin shop, expecting a few bucks at best. The dealer's face went pale. He reached for his magnifying loupe, his hands trembling. The edge of the penny revealed a double die strike, a rare misalignment during minting where the design is stamped twice, slightly off register. To the untrained eye, it was nearly invisible. But to seasoned collectors, this was a jackpot. The tiny D under the date wasn't just off-center, it had a ghosted doubling effect, a rare anomaly known among experts as a shadow mint mark. It's a blunder that should never have left the mint floor. Within days, news of the discovery exploded in the coin community. Collectors were shocked. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on it. Auction houses scrambled for the rights to list the coin. At a high-stakes auction in Las Vegas, under blinding lights and roaring applause, the bidding war erupted. The final hammer price? A jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Experts believe there are more of these 1994 D Lincoln pennies still out there, hiding in jars, drawers, and pocket change. Coins that have slipped through decades unnoticed. And every collector knows, the hunt is on. But most people miss the tiny detail that makes this penny a millionaire's dream. It's not just any 1994 D penny. You need to look for three things, especially around Lincoln's ear: the letters Liberty and the date. It won't be exaggerated like some dramatic double dies. It's faint, but once you see it, you'll never unsee it. Second, the mint mark. That small D under the date should show signs of what experts call ghosting. A blurred or shadow-like doubling that makes the D look almost like it's vibrating. These era coins often have a strange, almost satin-like finish. It's subtle, but when compared side by side with a regular penny, the difference is striking. One woman from Arizona found hers while cleaning out her father's old cigar box. That single coin turned her life upside down. It paid off her mortgage, sent her kids to college, and gave her a retirement beyond her wildest dreams. But what's even more shocking is how many people have let this exact penny slip through their fingers. Thousands of 1994 D pennies pass through hands every single day. At gas stations, in tip jars, lying unnoticed in junk drawers. Most folks see a tarnished old cent, and they'll never realize they just let $1 million walk away. You're sorting through your spare change, not expecting much. And there it is. That faint doubling on Lincoln's ear. That ghostly D under the date. Your heart races. Your hands start to shake. You might be holding a $1.7 million coin. Collectors across America are scouring their change, desperate to find the next treasure. Dealers are offering cash on the spot for confirmed specimens. This isn't a myth. It's real. And it's still out there. So before you dismiss that pile of pennies on your kitchen counter, take a closer look. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. A 1982 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, a coin millions of people have in their pocket change right now, turned into a millionaire's miracle. But this isn't just any ordinary penny. This coin carries a hidden flaw, a microscopic error so rare that even professional dealers overlooked it for decades. Yet one man, an average guy cleaning out his kitchen drawer, stumbled upon this exact coin. And what happened next? It shook the entire coin collecting world. But before we reveal the secret that made this penny worth a fortune, you need to know the backstory, because it's one of the most fascinating, bizarre tales in numismatic history. In 1982, the U.S. Mint did something they hadn't done since the Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909. They changed the very DNA of the coin. Due to rising copper prices, the mint quietly switched from solid copper pennies to a cheaper, copper-coated zinc core. But here's where it gets crazy. They didn't switch all at once. For months, both copper and zinc pennies were being minted, at the same time, in the same facilities. Among the billions of 1982 pennies, a tiny handful slipped through the cracks. They were struck with the wrong metal composition, or with subtle dye varieties, and, here's the key, without a mint mark. Collectors call them the 1982D small date copper pennies lost twin. But this version has no mint mark and a composition that's not supposed to exist. One day, a man named Mike was rolling pennies for his church fundraiser. Just another ordinary Saturday. As he casually glanced at a handful of coins, something caught his eye. The color, the weight, the feel. This penny felt different. Thicker. Heavier. Richer in tone. On a whim, he tossed it on a digital scale. It didn't weigh 2.5 grams like a typical zinc penny. It tipped the scale at 3.1 grams. His heart raced. Could this be one of the lost 1982 copper small date no mint mark pennies? The very coin experts believed might not even exist. When the results came back, collectors were floored. The penny was authenticated as a 1982 no mint mark copper small date, one of only a few ever discovered. Dealers lined up with blank checks. But Mike wasn't selling to just anyone. He took it to auction. That's right. A penny that could have been spent on a pack of gum became a millionaire maker. But here's the million-dollar question. Could you have one of these pennies sitting in your pocket right now? Most people wouldn't notice. They'd see an ordinary 1982 penny and never look twice. But the key is hidden in two things, the date and the weight. In 1982, there are large date and small date varieties. The small date is rarer and it has a distinct 2 with a delicate, curled tail. The 8 looks slimmer. It's a subtle detail, but it's everything. And here's the kicker, most 1982 pennies without a mint mark are zinc. They weigh 2.5 grams. But the million-dollar versions? They're copper. They weigh 3.1 grams. The only way to know for sure is to weigh them with a digital gram scale. Not with your fingers. Not by guessing. A gram scale. But what makes this even crazier is how easy it is to overlook. Collectors have dumped these into circulation without knowing. Coin machines reject them. Cashiers hand them out as change. And yet, one of these coins could instantly transform someone's life. Digging through a penny jar that's been collecting dust for years, and finding a coin worth over $1 million. That's not a fantasy. It's happened. Dealers are now in a frenzy, paying top dollar for verified small date copper pennies. The demand has exploded because people are waking up to the fact that these rare varieties are still out there, hiding in plain sight. Many fakes and altered coins are floating around. Some people try to plate zinc pennies with copper to fool the scales. But professionals can detect this instantly. Only pennies that were genuinely struck on leftover copper planchets from before the 1982 transition are valuable. That's why the most important step is professional authentication. Don't rush to eBay or start offering it to pawn shops. Get it graded. That's how Mike turned his pocket change into nearly $2 million. First, grab every 1982 penny you have. Focus on those without a mint mark. Flip them, look at the date carefully. Compare the 2 and 8 to images of small date pennies online. The tail of the 2 should be sharp and tight, not loose and droopy. Next, weigh the penny. It must weigh close to 3.1 grams. If it's under 2.6 grams, it's zinc, not the $1 million copper variety. If you find a no mint mark, small date penny weighing 3.1 grams, congratulations. You may be holding $1 million treasure, but don't stop there. The final step is the professional grading, because only certified coins will command 6 or 7 figures at auction. Collectors are shocked at how many of these have surfaced in recent years. What was once thought to be a myth is now one of the most coveted Lincoln cent rarities of all time. And here's the wildest part: these coins didn't come from dealers, or collectors, or elite auctions. They came from people like you. Everyday Americans. Folks who decided to check their loose change, and found a miracle. The 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin. It's a story. A chance. A life-changing moment that could be hiding in your wallet, your kitchen drawer, or the bottom of an old piggy bank. Check your coins. Weigh them. Look closely. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your house right now, and it's worth over $1 million. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. We're revealing more hidden coin treasures that could be your next big payday. You don't want to miss what's coming next.